Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the regular scheduled meeting of the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners, June 9, 2026. I'd like to call the meeting to order tonight. Pledge of allegiance will be led by Commissioner Ward, followed with the invocation by Commissioner McCord. Please join us.
Raise the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in prayer. Father, we are here today to ask for your blessing and guidance in the performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented. Make our solutions fair and just to the best interest of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and keep us united as a team to work for the betterment of the city and its people. We pray in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Make sure all is settled. All right, I'm going to start off tonight. Approval of the agenda as presented. Do we have a motion? Commissioner Wright with a motion, second by Commissioner Ward. All in favor of the agenda, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Moving into presentations and delegations. Tonight, we have the honor to recognize Chris Griffin, Landscape and Right-of-Way Supervisor, as the May Strongest Link in the Chain Award recipient. Mrs. Eller, Public Works Director, will address. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. I am honored to be presenting Chris with the Strongest Link Award tonight. So if you have not met Chris, he is our right-of-way and landscape supervisor in streets. And he is the man behind all the changes happening downtown with our landscaping. So one of the first projects we gave him when he became supervisor was to transform our downtown as far as landscaping. And I have watched him work on this project for months. He has come up with so many different designs. He has sought feedback from his peers, from myself, from Josh, and he has been open to any suggestions provided. Not only that, but he has looked at the short-term maintenance costs, long-term maintenance costs, and really tried to choose landscaping options that would be suitable for us long-term. So again, it was a lot of hard work and time that went into this, and our downtown's looking beautiful, and he's very much deserving of this award.
Josh, thank you very much. I live downtown more than I live at home in my job, and so every day I get to see the transformations that, Chris, the transformations that we're experiencing, and just thank you for your commitment to the city. We look forward to even bigger and brighter things in the future. All right, this time we'll do two. Excellent job, thank you. This time we'll do two proclamations. Presentation of proclamation for Juneteenth 2026, followed with a presentation of a proclamation for Pride Month. So if anybody would like to join me up front, you're more than welcome.
All right. First proclamation is for Juneteenth. Anybody want to? So proclamation celebrating Juneteenth 2026, whereas on June 19, 1865, 2.5 years after President Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, Union soldiers led by Major General Gordon Granger landed in Galveston, Texas with the news of the Civil War had ended and the enslaved people were now free. Whereas Major General Granger announced to residents of Texas, the people of Texas are informed that, in accordance with the proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involved an absolute equality of personal rights and right of property, whereas the first Juneteenth celebration was held in Texas in 1866. Since then, Juneteenth has been celebrated in communities across the United States, providing an opportunity to mark the emancipation of enslaved people. And whereas on this day, in hundreds of communities across the country, people of all races, nationalities, and religions joined hands to acknowledge the extremely painful history and lasting systematic impact of slavery and racial injustice in the United States. Juneteenth is an opportunity to recommit ourselves to the goal of creating a more equal and just society, an effort that continues today. Now therefore be resolved, we the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim June 19, 2026 to be Juneteenth Independence Day, and urge all the citizens of the City of Griffin to take cognizance of this event and participate in the observance. Witness hereof, I have here to set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Griffin to be affixed on this 9th day of June in the year of our Lord 2026. And we'd like to encourage everybody to join. The parade will be on June 20th, I believe at 10 o'clock, as well as activities at City Park being held this year. Does anybody else have anything else they need to add in regards to Juneteenth activities? This time, a proclamation for Pride Month 2026. Is there anybody in the audience come before? Okay. Proclamation, Pride Month 2026, whereas the uprising of the Stonewall Inn in June 8, 1969 sparked a liberation movement and a call of action that continues to inspire us to live up to our nation's promise of equality, liberty, and justice for all. Pride is a time to recall the trials the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer LGBTQ plus community has endured, and to rejoice in the triumph of trailblazing individuals who have bravely fought and continue to fight for full equality. Whereas the LGBTQ plus community in America has achieved remarkable progress since Stonewall, June has become a nationally recognized moment to celebrate and honor the way LGBTQ plus Americans have overcome adversity and enriched our society. Members of the LGBTQ plus community now serve in nearly every level of public office, in city halls and state capitals, the governor's mansions, and in the halls of Congress. Whereas for all the progress, there are many states in which LGBTQ plus individuals still lack protections for fundamental rights and dignity in hospitals, schools, public accommodations, and other spaces. Our nation was founded on the principle of equal rights for all people, and the City of Griffin strives to be a community where everyone is celebrated for our differences, rather than being limited by what might divide us. Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Commissioners of the City of Griffin does hereby proclaim June 26 to be Pride Month 2026 in the City of Griffin, and urge all citizens to support efforts to promote equality and affirmation of the LGBTQ plus community, and to recognize and celebrate the many ways in which the LGBTQ plus community has contributed to the history, culture, and social fabric of this nation and of the city. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set the seal caused by the City of Griffin to be affixed on this 9th day of June, the year of our Lord 2026. Signed, Douglas S. Hallberg, Mayor, and Jessica Connor.
Moving into citizens' comments, at this time, the mayor will
Financial
financial reports. Number 4, review financial reports for April 26th. City Manager Jessica O'Connor, welcome.
Okay, this is for the April financial statements, which is 83.4% into the fiscal year. Year to date, our general fund is at 91.9% of our operating revenue, which is $25,665,882. Our operating expenses at $34,270,460, or 75.8%. Our enterprise funds are almost at $100 million, or 87% of operating revenue, while expenses are at $74,150,914, or 67.7% of operating expenses. The water wastewater account is at $26,369,267, and operating revenue are 81.9%. While their operating expense is at $15,895,058, or 55.3% of their operating expense. Electric's operating revenue is at $58,740,861, or 88.7%, while their operating expense is at $63,049,543, or 71.9% of their operating expense. Solid waste operating revenue is $10,288,232, or 92.1%, while their operating expense is $8,257,663, or 75.1% of their operating expense. Again, this is at 83.4% into the fiscal year. So everyone is meeting revenue to date with the exception of water wastewater, which is just a percentage behind. And everyone's expenses are also well below what was expected at 83.4% into the fiscal year. As far as sales tax collections, lost sales tax percentages are at 89.5%, or $5,060,094, while T-SPLOST is 114.6% of budget, or $4,272,813.
Excellent report. Are there any questions from board members?
You said electrical, was it 58 operating dollar revenue?
Yes, that is what that shows, Bill.
And then it says here it's operating expenses at 63, is that correct?
Let me
Or is
make
that just
sure.
typo or-
I'm a little worried that should be 68, not 58.
That doesn't include transfers.
I'm sorry,
That doesn't include transfers.
they wouldn't,
Right.
We don't transfer anything into electrical.
yeah, 50. Yes, I think that is correct, but I will check it just to make sure. But yes, sir.
Any other questions? Now moving into citizens' comments. At this time, the mayor opens the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item, not listed on the agenda for a public hearing or to a concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinion, subject to the citizen comment policy adopted on February 13, 2024, and posted for public view. All speakers shall be limited to 3 minutes, which will be strictly followed and enforced. The mayor serves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff for resolution. Is there anybody from our left side? Well, hello.
I guess I'm the other one.
Name and address for the record, please.
I am Lane Dupree, and I'm with Erie Ag Life Team.
Welcome. You have 3 minutes. Tell us whatever you'd like to.
I was about to say,
There you
so I work with Erie Ag Life Team, which is an air ambulance helicopter. We have 18 in the state, with our newest being in Thomaston, Georgia at the airport. What we do is transfers between hospitals. So let's say you wind up here, you thought it was kidney stones, turns out to be something more and you need to get transferred, and or scene flights. And what a scene flight means is you have a wreck, hunting accident, medical emergency. They land somewhere, pick you up, and take you to the hospital. Now, normally, of course, you can never say 100%, but normally insurance does not cover air bills, and they are very, very expensive. There is not a equation that you can say point A to point B, this is how much your bill will be, because you need to know how far you're going and what medically happened between point A and point B. We have a membership that covers everybody at your address. If you were to get flown, you do not have a bill. There's no co-pays, deductibles, balance billing. Does not matter how many times you use it and or who lives with you. It goes by your address. It is able to be added as a benefit in any business, which of course does get a cheaper rate. Even the highest rate you could pay for 1 year is $99. I have filled up with gas recently for $75 and it lasts me about 2 days. People just don't realize when you're living rural, traveling, public safety is short. Fire, police, EMS, a lot of these places don't have the resources. And if you have a membership, you're able to use the helicopter sometimes instead of an ambulance, which leaves an ambulance in the county. So you're not taking resources away. It does not cost the county and or anybody that calls us or city. We are a public safety organization. We are a privately owned company, started in West Plains, Missouri in 1985. We have 400-ish helicopters across the United States. 115 fixed wings, and we do have some ground ambulance, but none around here in Georgia. The closest is Troop. The other helicopters that you would know are Fayetteville, LaGrange, and of course Thomaston. And like I said, we've got 18 with 2 more slotted to be in here by the end of the year. I wanted to introduce myself, get it out there that we do have this option, and if there's any questions or concerns, please let me know. And thank y'all for having me.
Our contact info there.
Yes, sir.
On the front page. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the service. Again, this is citizens' comments. Is there anybody on my left side like to come forward? Good evening, welcome. If you could please state your name.
Good evening. My name is Mercedes Worthy, and I'm representing 712 Experiment Street. And I'm here out of concern of parking on Experiment Street. Is this the right time for me to address that? Okay. I am a local business owner, have been for over 30 years. The city several years ago took the parking that was on the side of the street where our property is. And there's only the parking on the opposite side of the street, which we have recently been told by another investor in the area, the property next door to me, that he has acquired the lease for the parking from the railroad system, and now threatening and has posted signs to have cars towed if they're parking there, and if they're parking without a permit, and he's requiring people to have a permit, and I'm asking for, seeking assistance on how we can resolve the parking issue in that area, because we had free parking. When I initially purchased my property, there was free parking immediately in front. We've never had an issue with parking over the course of all of these years, and now we're being told, oh, you have to rent parking. So I need the city's assistance, because this same investor has also approached me with purchasing my property, and I've expressed repeatedly that I have no interest in selling. I am reopening my business, but now it's almost as if they're trying to push us out, almost being threatened. I've been in court about my property. The roof fell in, had all of the debris removed, had the building boarded up, but I continue to receive postings from the city, even was threatened with abating the property. We are working with the court system, working with contractors to acquire a new roof for the property, but my immediate concern is parking and how the city can address us with that, or assist us with that.
If you could stay for a few minutes and leave the city manager your contact information so they can follow up.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Who's the city manager?
She's right. She's taking care of a couple things right quick.
Okay,
Or you can pass on.
Give it to me, I'll get it to you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Good evening, welcome. Name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Emmett Jefferson. I'm representing 730 Experiment Street, also 732 Experiment Street. My concern is the parking as well, and we had parking directly in front of the businesses on that street, on Experiment Street. They were replaced with bicycle lanes. So therefore, the city let us know at the time that we had parking directly across the street. And my concern was with them, what about customers who elderly, who can't cross the street due to speeding cars, as well as, just can't walk, a long distance without giving out a breath. And the city said they assured they would put handicap spots over there. That has not happened. So, like she said, you got this investor coming in, threatening us to tow cars. I mean, that's affecting our business. What will our customer do? I have people coming from College Park, Henry County, Atlanta. What would they do? So my concern, I emailed the city manager. I received an email back that I wasn't pleased with, didn't get no resolution. So, hey, I feel that y'all need to put this on the agenda for your next meeting, and let's get this situation resolved. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, this is time for citizens' comments. Is there anybody else on my left side like to come before the board? Is there anybody on my right side like to come before the board? Thank you all for being here. Moving into public hearings. Public hearings are conducted to allow public comments on specific advertised issues such as rezoning, ordinances, policy development, operating budgets, and other legislative action to be considered by the City Commission. Item 5 is to receive comments regarding the proposed budget for fiscal year beginning July 1, 2026 and ending June 30th, 2027. City Manager Jessica O'Connor will address.
All right, in accordance with the law, we have been publishing the budget for the last couple of weeks. So tonight is our second public hearing on the proposed budget. The public notice information was published in the Griffin Daily News on May 19th, 2026, where we advertised 2 public hearings. The first one was held on May 26th at 6 p.m. and one was scheduled for this evening at 6 p.m. The ad also included that tonight would be the date of the vote on the adoption of the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2027 capital and operating budgets. A copy of the budget has been available in the city manager's office since Wednesday, May 20th, 2026, and it has been available on the city's website as well. I have received no questions or comments in my office since that time. And this budget, as we have talked about, has included several expense increases. However, I do believe that the budget is a fair use of funds while still meeting the needs of the city and being fiscally responsible to our citizens. What I do want to do very briefly is go through sort of the statement of cash flows in a little bit more easy to understand version that Ms. Thompson provided for me. So a big thank you to her. Ms. Demetri Jackson actually helped us with this budget this year too, and of course Ms. Manning Gilbert. So a big thank you to all of them and the department directors. But what I wanted to make sure that you were familiar with is the different governmental funds and the ending fund balance for each of those in this proposed budget, because unfortunately some of them are using fund balance, and I wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. This year, the general fund is projected to use $11.6 million in fund balance. The TAD will reserve $151,000 in the TAD 1 fund. The TAD 2 fund is projected to reserve $471,670, and the Core Technology Fund is projected to reserve $5,910. Everything else in the governmental funds, such as the CDBG, the Hotel Motel Tax Fund, the TSPOS Fund, and the URA Bond Fund, will expend everything that is received within those funds. Your enterprise and component units also have some differences this year. Most notably, the Water and Wastewater Fund will need to use projected $2,955,465 from fund balance, while the Electric Fund will be able to reserve $2,621,057. The Stormwater Fund will also need to use $78,250 from fund balance, while the Telecom Fund is projected to use $184,055 from fund balance. A lot of the cash flow needed from the general fund is actually to subsidize some of the other funds. For instance, the Solid Waste Fund is short this year, projected to be short this coming fiscal year by over $1.5 million. The Airport Authority Fund is generally short, and it is short $506,340. The Golf Course Fund is projected to be short $689,000, while Motor Pool is projected to be short $1.3 million. Main Street and DDA are always projected to be short this year at $185,000 and $273,000 respectively. So I just wanted to make sure that we pointed those out and wasn't sure if they were exactly clear in that statement of cash flows, because it is hard to sort of look at all of those different line items and figure out which one is going where. And of course, if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them now.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're saying, are you saying that we're borrowing money to get a balanced budget from other areas?
You are having to take money from reserves, so from the savings that you have in your fund balance in order to balance this year's budget, yes ma'am.
So basically, how damaging is that going to be to our fund balance?
If as projected, it would be $11 million, which is damaging and not something that can be sustained. I think at this point, we need to there's some financial things that have occurred in years past that we've got to figure out how we got into the position that we are in as far as some cost allocations and some ways that we have transferred money from one fund to the other. Deborah and Amanda and I have sat down recently and looked at all of that, and actually in our cemetery trust board meeting this afternoon, talked about that in relation to the cemetery trust. And so this is something that we have talked with our auditors about. It's in your audit every year as a comment that needs to be settled. And so I think what we've done is we've realized what our utility funds really cost to run, but our general fund, we continue to see what our revenue is bringing in, but we're not really paying attention to the expense it is to run the services within our general fund. So for instance, if you look just at the general fund, the revenue coming in is projected to be $29,760,569. The problem is the expenses for the general fund alone is $50 million. So you're $21 million short when you know that you're going to bring in money in your transfers. That's a policy that you all set decades ago. You transfer money in from the electric department, you transfer money in from the water and wastewater department, which is a normal course of business. It's like paying your stockholders, like Georgia Power does. But at this point, that has not kept up with the expense increase in your general fund. So how do we want to proceed with those expenses? Are we going to continue to run at a negative? Are we going to increase our property taxes? Are we going to increase our transfers into the general fund? Are we going to say that the general fund will no longer subsidize any other funds, meaning that motor pool, the airport, the DDA, the golf course, everybody has to make their own money or they don't get money from the general fund? How do we want to, what is the policy that we need to set as far as how we operate those other funds? From what I can tell, and I've done a lot of research lately, I can't find where y'all have ever had those conversations. So I think those need to be had. I think that in this upcoming fiscal year, you're going to be going to new software, so you won't see a budget look like this anymore, because you have the new Tyler software that's being implemented now. And so are there some things that we can do that are more efficient, that is going to take some of these transfers in and out that may save us some money? That's what Deborah's looking at now with our auditors, and some sort of, is there some governmental practices that we can do? But there's also the governmental accounting principles that have to be followed. There's the GASB standards, which I can't even remember what GASB stands for, that we have to abide by. And so there's a lot of rules that we have to follow too. We're actually going so far as to go to other MEAG cities and say, hey, what do you do with your, how do you pay out from your electric accounts? Or what do you do if you have a utility fund? We know by law that the stormwater fund has to be on its own, both in revenue and expense. It never gets money from us and never pays money into the general fund. So what are some ways that we can set things up to make it more efficient? Deborah has gone so far back as to look to find out when it all sort of got a little, when it got bigger or worse as far as when we started owing each other money, and I mean each other as in the funds. And for some reason in 2007 that occurred. And so having to unravel all that for the last almost 20 years now is just very cumbersome, and trying to figure out the best way to do
So
that.
basically, in a nutshell, this has been our practice since 2007.
Since 2002 is what we can tell. It's just that it was a little bit here and there, which you would expect. Like end of the year, when maybe I owed the electric fund a little money, or water owes stormwater a little money, or not stormwater, but any other fund a little money, and then you just don't finish it out by the end of the year, so you put that on the books that we gotta pay that next year. But then somehow in 2007, it quit being just a little bit end of the year stuff, and it seemed to have gotten just all the time that it was just done on the books and not actually completed in money transaction. And so we've said for a long time, we, the auditors, we, the staff, have said we need to correct that. And so that's what we have to do to make sure that we understand, you all as a board and us as a staff know exactly what it costs for everything to run, not just the enterprise funds, but the general fund and the other component units, the special unit, all those kind of things that we have as well. Yes, ma'am?
So in actuality, we're having, again, a balanced budget, but we're having to borrow money to do it.
We're not borrowing it, we're taking, it's like,
Transfer.
yes ma'am, taking it from our
So
savings.
we don't give it back.
No, it's ours, it's from our savings, it's like taking it from your savings account. But it's not something that it's not something that I would suggest you need to continue to do every year, or you need to bank on, because you won't have it there forever. So I think it's something, and it's almost sort of that chicken and the egg that I mentioned during the workshop, like the motor pool. We don't ever have to subsidize motor pool at 1.3 million. It's normally around $250,000. This year, we pretty much said we're going to make that a priority, because motor pool, we've got to decide, is either going to become a department in and of itself, or it can be the true fleet department, where it starts from purchase, repair, surplus, sort of that internal leasing program where we don't need 50 dump trucks, we need 5, and we each go there that day and get the dump truck that we need, which will eventually cut down on our overall costs for equipment. But we've never done it that way, and so it takes a little bit of money at first to get that up and running. In the end, that should save us money. So it's sort of, this is the year we decided to do that for motor pool. And they know that, and this is where we gotta make that decision to say we expect that service to then increase, so we're not spending that money outside, and we can keep it here, and it should cut down on costs eventually. So, but those are some of those decisions that I think will come back to you when we say, all right, these are some of the operational things that we have to decide yes or no on going forward.
Any other questions?
I just want to make sure I'm looking at the right number. So on the statement of cash flow, the overall deficit between revenue and expenses, 24,538,024.
Where are you?
Page 21.
Okay, let me pull that one up. I'm 21 in the budget?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, 24, that is through every fund, yes, 24, 538, 24? Yes, that is correct. Some of that though is including depreciation, so that's not all cash. So if you go and look, probably, let's see if I can tell
Page
you.
18, I think.
I'm sorry?
I think it's on page 18. The 11 million.
Well, that shows the general fund, yes. So each fund, if you look at the column, if you're looking at the budget, if you look at the cash reserved and restricted, which is sort of you see that one? That'll show it by fund. Another thing that's different is that the general fund does not recognize depreciation, the enterprise funds do. And that is GAAP or GASB. Yeah, that's your general accepted accounting principles, that your enterprise funds are going to recognize it because they operate as a business, and your general fund does not recognize depreciation. So you sort of gotta take that back out, which it is taken out. If you look at the 1, 2, 3, 4th line, it adds back non-cash expenses for depreciation on your enterprise funds. So if you look at that line, once you get to the bottom of that page, it's the 7.793. So not near as bad. At the end of the day, you get to your final net position, which is 0, which is what is required from a government to have a balanced budget.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Board members? This is a public hearing. At this time, does anybody else have any questions or comments? This concludes our public hearing on the budget. Moving into the consent agenda, we have items 5 and or 6 and 7, do a motion.
Approve.
That's Commissioner Curtis.
It was
Oh,
me.
Ward, I'm sorry. Commissioner Ward, second.
Second.
Commissioner Wright. All in favor of the consent agenda, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Under the regular agenda. Consider resolution adopting the annual fiscal year 2026-2027 operating capital budget, appropriating expenditures and forecasted revenues for specified purposes, functions, and activities by fund for the budget period in the capital improvement program. Motion approved.
Motion approved.
Commissioner Ward with the motion,
Second.
second by Commissioner Wright. All in favor of the budget, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 9 is consider resolution to amend the City of Griffin's fiscal year 2025-2026 operating capital budget for general housekeeping measures in the amount of $215,854.71. We have a motion to approve the resolution.
Motion approved.
Commissioner Ward,
Motion.
second by Commissioner Wright. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 10 is consider audit engagement letters for audit services with auditors Long and Jenkins, certified public accountants, as a professional service.
Motion approved.
Commissioner Ward with the motion.
Second.
Commissioner Wright. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 11 is to consider the minutes of the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners workshop on May 26, 26.
Motion approved. Commissioner
Ward, second by Commissioner Wright. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 12 is consider a memorandum of understanding among the Department of Community Affairs and the City of Griffin, the local Main Street Program Board of Directors, and the downtown manager.
Motion approved.
Commissioner Ward with the motion.
Second.
Commissioner Fuller with the second. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 13 is considered a trademarks of license agreement, sub-license agreement between the Georgia Department of Community Affairs, coordinating program with the City of Griffin Main Street Program, sub-licensee.
Motion approved.
Commissioner Ward with the motion.
Second.
Commissioner Wright with the second. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 14 is considered a claim for personal injury for Carol Lucier based on any life notice from Deming Parker dated May 27, 26.
Motion approved.
Commissioner Ward with a motion to deny.
Second.
Commissioner Wright with a second. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0 in approval. Item 15 is consider a motion to.
Denial.
Which one?
Just clarifying that's denial.
Denial, yes, denial. On 14. Item 15 is consider a motion to retain attorney J. Anderson Davis, partner law firm of Davis, Lucas, Carter, LLP, or LLP of Rome, Georgia, as special counsel to represent the City of Griffin in a pending class action lawsuit against several major manufacturers of fire trucks and firefighting apparatuses.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Fuller with a motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Wright with a second. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0 in favor. Item 16 is to consider a resolution adopting an intergovernmental agreement between Spalding County and the City of Griffin and Orchard Hill, providing for a special purpose local option sales tax subject to an approval at a referendum to be held November 3rd, 2026, effective April 1, 2027, provided that if approved by a majority of the city electors voting in said referendum, the City of Griffin shall authorize and issue City of Griffin general obligation bonds in the amount not to exceed $20 million or at a rate of not to exceed 6% to fund in whole or part certain city SPOS projects, i.e. construction equipment of the new fire stations, authorizing the mayor to make minor changes to IGA if necessary and for other purposes. The motion to approve the intergovernmental agreement.
Motion.
Commissioner Wright with a motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fuller. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0 in support. Item 17 is considered an intergovernmental agreement with Spalding County and the Three Rivers Regional Commission to operate a pilot program for a free fixed route shuttle service to different recreational locations throughout the county at a cost of $20,000.
Mayor, I do need to make note of a couple things.
Yes,
This-
ma'am.
This was at your instructions. I went back and spoke with Jeannie Brantley with Three Rivers and Dr. Ledbetter with the county. I know Commissioner Fuller had one particular question about adding Tyus Park to the route. I was told that that would limit the number of the number of times that they could make the full route to 4. So they chose not to add that to the route. And then also wanted to make sure that you noted, I did want to update the agreement that was added to the agenda today. And so the second to last and the last whereas clauses have been updated. So there's actually 2 different types of programs being offered. One is the shuttle service that you see. The other attachment shows where they will go and about the times they will be there, where they will pick up. And so that is being called the shuttle service, which is the free public shuttle service, which will connect residents to recreational facilities throughout the county during the summer months on a predetermined route. The second item is because they receive Federal Transit Administration 5311 funding through GDOT, that if you are an ADA compliant, then they can also, an eligible ADA customer may request pickup within a 24-hour notice, if given 24-hour notice, in addition to the predetermined route. So there's really 2 separate options. You can still do your 24-hour notice if you're ADA compliant, and you also can go to the little stop that they will have. And this will get you to a couple of different places throughout the county, and most of them are within the city, so that's nice as well. We had not budgeted this, and so it would start June 17th, which would be within this fiscal year. We would try to see if we have any transportation money that we could use for that. If not, we would ask for it to come from Commissioner's contingency. Since budget was already done before we had this request, we had to do the same next year as well.
Are there any questions in regards to this program?
Well,
Yes, ma'am.
fixed route shuttle, is it just going to recreational locations?
Well, it'll pick you up at the Oaks, so the second attachment shows you where it will go, which is Fairmont Park, the park at Oaks, so the Oaks Housing Authority facility on Meriwether, City Park, the Senior Center, Ambucks Park, and the Aquatic Center.
But it will pick you up at the Oaks and that apartment complex, and it will take you to
any of those places. So those are your stops. So you have to get to one of those places to be able to ride it. Or you can call 24 hours in advance if you have where you can't get there with your ADA, and then they will get you from your home. Otherwise, you go to one of those locations and they will pick you up.
Got Fairmont Park at Oak, City Park, Senior Center, Ambucks Park, and Aquatic Center.
Correct.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So it runs from 9 a.m. until 5:30. And that will be Tuesday through Saturday. You have to be 15 years or older to ride. And I did ask the question this morning, you had about going into the aquatic center, you have to be 18 or accompanied by an adult. They said that would still be true, so you would not be able to get off at that stop, but the other places are 15. So Ambucks, City Park, Fairmont.
Are they gonna monitor exactly how many people they pick up and let us know at the end of this?
Yes, they're supposed to keep up with all of that data and give us information after that, because this is a pilot program to see if we want to continue it next year or throughout the year, whatever. Yes, sir.
This is the cost for everybody together, or is this what they're asking us for?
The total cost is $40,000, so they're asking us to split it at 20.
For the buses used, the total amount of passengers is 11, that's the capacity?
Yes.
That's how many,
11.
that's how many they can pick up?
Yes, but they do say that larger groups may be accommodated by prior reservation. I'm not sure if that means they would take 2 at one time or how they would accommodate that.
That's for 6 weeks, right?
From June 17th through August 14th.
Back in then, so.
Well, we wanted to run it for 2 more weeks to see if people would use it while school was in session, to see if it would be worthwhile throughout the year. Yeah, August 14th.
17.5, I think it'd be right. Do we have a motion to approve or deny?
Motion to approve.
A motion from Commissioner Fuller. We have a second. Commissioner Holberg will make us, or Mayor Holberg will make a second. Is there any other discussion or comments? All in favor of the motion to partner with Spalding County on this project, please signal by raising your hand. All against, like sign. 5-1, Commissioner Ward against. Okay. Moving to item 18, consider authorizing travel for commissioners to attend the MEAG annual meeting in Amelia Island, Florida on July 12th and 15th, 2026. Motion to approve.
Motion.
Commissioner Wright with a motion.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Ward. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. And final is to consider cancellation of City Board of Commissioners July 14, 2026 regular meeting due to the Commissioners' attendance at the MEAG annual meeting in Amelia Island, Florida.
Motion.
Commissioner Wright with a motion. Second by Commissioner Ward. All in favor of canceling the meeting, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. That is our agenda for tonight. Moving into the city manager's report.
Congrats to Chris Gooden. The pictures themselves, I think, speak volumes as to what has taken place downtown and how much better it looks. So it's still a work in progress, and we still have some stuff we want to do, but he's certainly done a very good job making it look much better than it did. Also, it has already been quite the week with our CGA junior participants. We have 31 of them. And so it was day 2 today. They will be at the fire station, police department, and court tomorrow. And then we'll finish the week on Thursday with all the utilities. So I think everybody is enjoying them so far. Middle schoolers are a lot of fun, and this is a good group. They're very exciting and ready to learn. So it's been fun with them. Friday, of course, we will be getting ready for June Jam, and so we are trying to make a final decision as to location. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we'll be able to do it where we normally do in front of Imperial Theater Park because of the county's building and some of the destruction that they've had over there. And so Danielle and I will get together tomorrow to talk about where we might need to move that. The weather doesn't look great either, but as long as we can proceed safely, we will proceed. For us on Saturday, and there's stuff throughout the day planned, and then of course the actual concert Saturday night. And I think that is all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Wells. Thank you, sir.
Thank you everyone for coming down.
Commissioner Ward. Commissioner Fuller.
Yeah, I just have to say happy Pride Month to everybody. It's an honor to serve here, and I don't believe it's been said yet since I've been on board, so I just want to sort of point it out. I may very well be the first openly transgender person to serve on this board, and it is an honor to be in that position because when I was growing up, you saw basically nobody, and so if I can be an inspiration to somebody, just to give them some hope to stay alive, that can mean a lot. So thank you all so much for coming out.
Commissioner Wright.
No comment.
Commissioner Ward.
I have no comments.
Lane, thank you for being here tonight, and Mercedes and Emmett, we will follow up on those issues and your concerns. And then Chris, downtown looks amazing. Thank you for your commitment and hard work. We do still have table sales for roughly $125, $130 a piece, so if anybody wants to get a table for 4, reserve seating for June Jam. It's our 20th June Jam, so it's hard to believe that 2005 we started that great event. Also, just to give you a heads up, the county is, the General Assembly is going back into session to clean up some stuff on elections, in terms of, I think, barcodes or something, but or QR codes, but there's a chance that the county may end up pushing for local legislation to call for L host, so we need to stay on our toes. There is the option for a floss tax without a local legislation, which I think would better benefit all citizens, not only homeowners, but also businesses and renters. And so there's going to be this push probably the next, I'd say 7 to 10 days. And so please be aware if we need to call for a meeting to take a position on the FLOST or the L host the next couple of weeks when the General Assembly goes back. session. That being said, do we have a motion to adjourn? Commissioner Fuller, or Ward, that motion, Commissioner Wright, second, all in favor, please. Raise your hand and we'll move on. Thank you all for being here tonight.